Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a phenomenal Sunday and that you had a great weekend and that it was full of lots of reading. I know it's been hot in a lot of places, so I hope you stayed cool and I hope that you got a lot of family time, adventures, whatever you wanted to do this weekend. I hope that you've got to do it. I'm coming to you with a pretty exciting video today. But here's the thing, I've had a hard time shooting this thing. I don't know why, but I cannot get my words out of my mouth. So I'm just going for it this time, and I apologize if I stumble a little bit, but speaking has not been my strength trying to make this video. So there you go. The topic of the video is going to be 5 books that I am super excited to read that have recently come out. So they're fairly new releases, some a little bit longer ago than others, but all of them are available and all of them are making it into that stack when I'm about to choose my next read. I'm like, oh gosh, do I want this one yet? Or do I want to wait? Or how do I want to do this? But they're always sort of there in the forefront of my mind. So I thought I would shoot them out to you, see if you guys have read any, and if not, get out your papers, your pens, your Goodreads, because I have a feeling most of these are going to make it onto your TBRs. Let's start with a book that comes highly recommended to me by my friend Chris over at Chris's Bookish Cauldron. And if you don't watch Chris's channel, you really should. And also, if you're a huge fantasy fan, Chris does a lot of stuff about epic fantasy, which I don't do on my channel. So if you're looking for that, he definitely is a great resource. But this is not that type of book. This is Sal by Mick Kitson. Now, this is, when Chris described it to me when he read it, he said he thought that this was a new release that was getting absolutely no buzz, and he thought that that was a tragedy. So, I am here to say that I bought it because Chris told me to, and then on the back, there are 3 blurbs. One from Joanna Cannon, who wrote The Trouble with Goats and Sheep. One from Sarah Schmidt, who wrote See What I Have Done. I always get the name of her book a little jumbled in my mouth. And then another from Jess Kidd, who wrote himself and the current release, The Hoarder, and I can't remember what the U.S. title was, but it has a different U.S. title. All authors that I'm super excited about, and then Chris's recommendation. Come on, and then you add on top of that, I have to just show you guys the end papers of this book. Canongate, knocking it out of the park, right? So this is the story of Sal. Sal is a teenage girl who has a younger sister named Peppa. And we learn from the blurb that she has been preparing to basically go into the wilderness with her sister. She's been watching videos, she's stolen maps, she's becoming sort of a person who can start a fire, create a shelter, because she is about to flee her home, because Peppa has reached the age that Sal was when her stepfather came after her. I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly if it's physical abuse. I don't know if it's sexual abuse, mental abuse, all of those things, whatever. But Sal is out to protect her younger sister, and she is going to be going into the wilderness and has been prepping just for that. And I guess from what I've read a little bit, the book is told solely from Sal's perspective, so you get sort of that narrator on the run, but also that protective family element, which I just think sounds excellent. So I had to pick up Sal by Mick Kitson because that's Chris said to. And if he says to, you should do it. There you go. The next book I picked up because my friend Kendra Winchester, if you guys don't watch her channel, oh my goodness. Her and the Reading Women, they're amazing. She sent me an article, which is a review about a book that was it's out by One World, which is a subsidiary of Random House, and the review was fantastic, and that is Confessions of a Fox, or The Fox, by Jordy Rosenberg. Now, I think just to mention this about Jordy is a, let's see, it says here, he is a transgender writer and scholar and an associate professor at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where he teaches 18th century literature and queer and trans history. Now, and he is easy on the eyes, I'm just going to tell you that right now. And I've tried to summarize this book. This is where the hiccups come. And so I'm just going to read you guys what this book is about. This is the story of Jack Shepherd and Edgeworth Bess, who were the most notorious thieves, jailbreakers, and lovers of the 18th century London. Yet no one knows the true story. Their confessions have never been found. Until now, reeling from heartbreak, a scholar named Dr. Voth discovers a long-lost manuscript. a gender-defying expose on Jack and Bess's adventures. Dated 1724, the book depicts a London underworld where scamps and rogues clash with the city's newly established police force. Queer subcultures thrive, and ominous threats of the plague abound. Jack, a transgender carpenter's apprentice, has fled his master's house to become a legendary prison break artist. And Bess has escaped the draining of the Fenlands to become a revolutionary. Now, I started this book in the bookstore because I picked it up. And I will say it starts off a bit tawdry. And I wasn't quite ready, but I was definitely perked. Let me tell you, I was like, ooh, okay. But I've heard a lot of really good things about this book. I've heard it makes a lot of people think and talk, which I think is a phenomenal reason to pick up a book. So that's why I have Confessions of the Fox by Jordy Rosenberg. The next book, I'm going to throw a little fantasy in there for you guys, is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Now, I read Naomi Novik's last book, which was Uprooted, which was a fantasy novel, which I enjoyed quite a bit, actually. I thought it was a bit too long, and I thought the end was a bit convoluted. But I really liked it, and I would recommend it if you guys were looking for sort of an epic fantasy novel set in a very interesting world. This book is set in the same world, but totally different characters as far as I can tell. This is the story of Miriam, who is the granddaughter of moneylenders, and her father, though, is not very good at the job that his family has. And so she takes over and she becomes a moneylender, and she's good at it. But she makes sort of a boast to a king, which causes sort of some repercussions, and a story goes along. I know 2 other young women become part of her escapade, and one of them is intended to marry a czar, but that czar isn't what everyone expects him to be. So I think that that just sounds fun. Her first book was very, very fun, and it's probably not her first book, but the first book I read by her, Uprooted, was very good, and I really enjoyed it. And this was my book of the month book pick, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Okay. Next, there's so much about this book that I just absolutely love, you guys. And this is Fruit of the Drunken Tree by Ingrid, Rojas, Contreras. And this book just came out, I want to say last week, but I got it at my local bookstore where she had come in to sign. And look at her adorable stamp that she stamps her books with. Yeah, super excited about this. And from what I can tell, I believe that this is loosely based on Ingrid's own life. This is the story of 7-year-old Chula and her older sister. They live in Bogota, and they are protected. They are in a walled-off, gated world where they are not being influenced by the world of Pablo Escobar that is going on all around them. And one day, Chula's mom decides to hire a maid from what the book Inlet calls the guerrilla-occupied slum. Her name is Petrona, and she comes to live with the family. And Chula decides that she's going to befriend Petrona, and I like this world here. It says, as both girls' families scramble to maintain stability amid the rapid, escalating conflict, Petrona and Chula find themselves entangled in a web of secrecy that will force them to sacrifice and betrayal. So I think that sounds so amazing, and this cover and that amazing stamp. So this is just out. That's Fruit of the Drunken Tree by Ingrid, Rojas, Contreras. Okay, last but not least, a big thank you to Putnam for sending me a finished copy of the novel Becoming Belle by Nuala O'Connor. This book is out, so you guys can go get your own copies as well. And this is the story of Belle. This takes place over a 4-year period, 1887 to 1891. Isabella Belton is a member of a family. It's a lower middle class family, a military family. And by 1991, she is a countess, the Countess of Clancarty. And she is called the Peasant Countess. And this is the story of those 4 years and all of the people and her own motivation. So all the people who don't want her to get where she wants to go, and her motivation to get where she wants to go. So I think this is one of those strong stories about a young girl who decides, my life's going to be different. and I'm going to make changes, and succeeds, it appears. I believe that this is based on a true woman. I'm 99.9% sure. And there is actually a glossary in the back of some true life people. And according to the acknowledgments that I read, it said that she did base them on some real people, and tried to keep a lot of the facts accurate. So I think that sounds great. I love books set in this time period about young women who are just bucking the trends and deciding that they're going to make their life different. So if you're into historical fiction with strong female leads, I have a feeling that Becoming Bella may be the book for you. So this is by Nuala O'Connor and out by Putnam. Thank you again, Putnam, for sending me a copy. I'm super excited about that. So those are the 5 books that I'm going to talk to you about today. Have you guys read any? Let's talk about them down below. And as always, if you are a return subscriber to my channel, thank you so much. You know I appreciate you and every day. And then also, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much. I hope you like what you saw. Click that subscribe button. And until next time, happy reading, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!